Yo, today I want to talk about builds, and this goes to about min-maxing, how I used to make stuff and how I'm planning to do stuff in the near future. This also concerns the incarnates of the week. One thing is that uh, I record stuff for the incarnates of the week every week. I don't take footage from past incarnates of the week and just apply in the same, just apply the footage and make another video, no, or just re-upload the video, no. I record from scratch. But I do this because I like to make stuff fresh, and I eventually touch the builds changed over the time as I felt it was more suitable for the weapons. Back in the day where I was using stuff, and I'm gonna use the Breton as an example, the Breton Karn, for this video. I had a build that was probably hunter munitions and your classic aptitude, galvanized chamber, and all that stuff. And this last week, I actually posted a build not even using galvanized aptitude and focus, and actually taking even the viral heat on my build, which isn't very you don't see it often these days. But what does that has to do with everything? I used to make builds focusing on damage. This is probably the build I had for the incarnates, past incarnates of the week, where the Breton was present. After the changes, because it changed the whole slash for some heat, and this was the stuff I was taking. And this might just be one of the best builds you can make if you're gonna use a primer and you wanna deal heavy damage and stacking heat. Let me get some stacks and then keep looking at it. This is probably, again, one of the best builds, but we're, you know, there is its pros and cons. And if you really want to deal the highest amount of damage with this build, you are going to have to prime. The thing is, after the changes to armor and vulnerabilities, I just don't feel the same need to be priming stuff every time. We're dealing great damage here. Don't get me wrong. We're dealing great damage. Okay, but we ended up falling in that same stuff where if you prime, what's gonna be bad? It's just performing really, really well with priming. But showing you a different build this week. Goddamn mouse is changing the DPI on its own. So this is the build I showed you guys this week. We have questions in both builds that I don't even know what's the proper, perfect optimization, but let me build again the stacks and we'll talk more. Okay, stacks are here. The fire rate is slower, but it doesn't really feel like I'm losing too much, And I'm even using Primate Shred here, which I said both builds have their issues. One of the issues with the other build is that Galvanized Aptitude, it's gonna be only partially working because we have a radial part of the attack, which Galvanized Aptitude probably doesn't even touch, because the Condition Overload does not touch radial or AoEs. And exactly the same point, it is a matter of concern for this one, for using Prime Shred. you can see by attacking this one that even with the punch through, on impact is affecting the nearby enemy. But is that damage really this radial the end, or it is a weaker stance and I'm losing damage, you know? That is something that I really don't know. But what I feel like is that, one, I don't really need the best of the best min-max build to make this thing work. I feel like this is enough damage and pretty good damage. And another very important detail is whenever I have the Breton Incarnate as an option, let's say Deep Arc Media, the Circuit, you know, Duviri, and I don't have a primer, then that's gonna be a problem. That's usually a problem when I don't have a primer. So that weapon with that build is probably not gonna do a great job. That's why I'm preferring to build like this again. I don't feel the need, and I also don't want to depend on something else for my weapon to perform well. I don't mean you need viral to, you know, to be the best thing in the world, but if you have viral stuff, it's just better. So if I can't put viral on my weapon and not depend on other stuff, it's what I'm gonna do. If I think the damage is good enough, that's probably what's gonna be. Because at the end of the day, if you really want to take your weapon to the highest of the highest levels, you want to go like level cap style or just endurance for a couple hours, then yeah, you're gonna need or you preferably would use the build that deals the most amount of damage, and then you're gonna have to put some research into it and really see what you're gonna need. But I don't think you need that stuff, and probably not even the average viewer is gonna be min-maxing the crap out of these weapons. So if you have a more a build that's more accessible to everyone, things might be better. And yeah, I think that's it. You know, I just want to make stuff more like plug and play, ready to go, so you don't need that much setup. I think things just work better like that when you have the least amount of setup. It's just way more fun if stuff like that can perform really well. So that's what I'm planning to do from now on. Yeah, that's it. Leave a like, subscribe, and peace.
Till next time, friend.